I know. It's okay, Mataji. Yeah, it's okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. What's happening?
Talking about Mataji is still trying to get the computer.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji is still trying.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Not yet. Yes,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
No, Mataji.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna.
For me, thank you for your kirtan. Thank you for your kirtan. So now
My service, isn't
we'll
it?
start the class. Thank you so much. My computer froze. I had to turn off my computer, and now we're back again. And I hope Krishna will allow us to stay in the class. Okay, so yeah, your brother is frozen, but I see you. You are okay, and I'm okay. I'm here. Yes. Okay. So mukam karoti vachalam bangam lankaite girim yakibam tamham vande sikurum janacharinam om gyana timirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshumilitam yena tasamai Shri Gurave Namaha. So yesterday we discussed about Shraddha and Sadhusanga, how you can get Shraddha, you can get taste simply by serving the devotees of the Lord, by hearing sincerely, hearing inquisitively. So that was our yesterday's class. And we also discussed how to strengthen your faith by hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam, by applying Shrimad Bhagavatam, and by being grateful to Krishna. Thank you, Krishna, for helping me, for giving me all these opportunities to serve you. So today we will start with verse 1 to 17 in Shrimad Bhagavatam. And then we will also do verse 18. And this will take us from Bhajana Kriya through Anartanariti up to Nishtha. So here we go. Now we'll go to 1 to 17. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punya shavana kirtana hirantasda hiputrani vidunoti sarit satam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, Supersoul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire, material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So we live in Vrindavan, India. Yeah, we'll come to the purport later. So I'll tell you when. We'll come a little later to the purport. So in Vrindavan in the winter, there's a huge fog. It comes on the road. Very, very difficult. You cannot see more than maybe 2 feet in front of you. And very difficult to drive. And so when there is no fog, we can move very quickly. But when the fog is thick, we have to slow down. And it takes so much time just to cross the smallest distance. The sun is shining above the fog, but the fog blocks its warmth and light. Now we have a fog in our heart. The fog of Namaparad, the fog of anarthas, lust, anger, greed, very thick fog. It covers our heart, and the rays of the pure holy name cannot shine. We cannot see, we move slowly, we feel the chill of uncertainty in our practice. When will we ever reach our goal? But by sincere chanting, rich with spiritual knowledge, the thick fog of anarthas and aparads will clear from our hearts. And then we'll have the brilliant spiritual rays of the holy name shining and taking everything away. And our souls will bathe in the warmth of spiritual joy, and our path back to Godhead will be constantly illuminated. So in time, we'll reach the shore of Prema Bhakti and bathe within. So today, despite the fog, we must be determined to reach Vrindavan. let's go to the purport, paragraph 2. Will we get help going through the fog of anarthas? Srila Prabhupada says, now we're going to paragraph 2. The Lord is reciprocally respondent to his devotees when he sees a devotee is completely sincere in getting admittance to the transcendental service of the Lord and has thus become eager to hear about him. The Lord acts from within the devotee in such a way the devotee may easily go back to him. The Lord is more anxious to take us back into his kingdom than we can desire. Most of us do not desire at all to go back to Godhead. Only a very few men want to go back to Godhead. But anyone who desires to go back to Godhead, Shri Krishna helps in all respects. Okay, so now we're finished with the purport for now. Thank you. So Krishna is going to help us if he sees that we are sincere. Srila Prabhupada once wrote me a letter, and he said there are 3 things which will help you to advance in spiritual life. Well, he told me how to perform. First, he gave me some instructions, do deity worship, read the books, study the books. So he gave me some instructions in my initiation letter. Then a few months later, he wrote me another letter, and he said that there are 3 things, 3 qualities that you must have in your performance of devotional service. So first is sincerity, second, enthusiasm, and third, cooperation with all the other devotees. And so, yes, that is very, very important to help us go back to Godhead. Often when I give this class, not online, I ask everyone, how many want to go back to Godhead? And mostly the whole class will raise their hand. But one time I asked in Sweden, and only a few people wanted to go back to Godhead in Sweden. I guess they're happy there with their materialistic life. Yeah. So how to go back to Godhead? This verse says, Punya Shravana Kirtana. By chanting and hearing about Krishna, we create punya. Now everybody who's listening is creating punya, bhakti punya. Even if Prabhupada said, even if you don't understand a single word we're speaking, if you just hear, you become pious. And then in a lecture on Queen Kunti, after Queen Kunti's prayers, Prabhupada said, every word, every obeisance that we do is being counted by Krishna. He's a transcendental accountant. We have a spiritual bank account, and Krishna is our accountant. For the non-devotees, they also have a karma bank account, and the accountant is Chitragupta, secretary of Yamaraj. So Prabhupada said, if someone even unconsciously offers obeisances, he gets credit. He gets a credit in his spiritual bank account immediately. And then he can purchase Krishna when he has enough. And so this is bhakti. If just a little bit will help us to cross the ocean of material existence. Narada Muni, in the first canto, 6th chapter, he says, it is personally experienced by me, those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects, can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. So when we had my godbrother Bhargava, he's a photographer. He asked Srila Prabhupada, how can I solve problems? I have problems. The spiritual master isn't there. It's too detailed for the scriptures. What should I do? Srila Prabhupada said, if you chant Hare Krishna very nicely, all the answers will come from within. So I had that experience when I was teaching Bhakti Vaibhav course, Bhakti Vedanta course. Sometimes I did not understand a verse. So I would read the verse and I would chant one round. And after that, I would get so many ideas, so much realization was shed. One time I had a difficult chapter in 3rd canto about time. So I chanted I read the whole chapter. I chanted all my 16 rounds. And then I got a whole chart of the different times to give to my class that morning. And so it really helps if you chant attentively. And that will be the essence of this class, that we have to chant attentively. So if you chant Hare Krishna, suppose you're chanting very, very nice japa, and if you had a video camera like these doctors do when they do a heart operation, suppose you had a video camera in your heart to see what's happening when you chant nice japa. What would you see? You would see yourself chanting. You would see Krishna. You would see all the dirty things. And according to this verse, what would Krishna be doing while we're chanting Hare Krishna? He'll be listening to us. And according to Satchidananda Swami, Krishna will have a broom and he'll be sweeping out our heart from all the anarthas while we're chanting, if we're chanting attentively. And that's what Krishna says. That's what is said in this verse, that the Lord in the heart, when he hears us chanting sincerely, he will clean out our heart. And so Prabhupada said, this is the Sanskrit word vitunoti, cleaning out. Krishna helps. If you're hearing with attention, Prabhupada said, Krishna is with you. Krishna is so kind. Krishna is so sympathetic. As soon as he sees, oh, my child's trying to reach me, because everybody's Krishna's child. And Krishna feels anxious to see his child in anxiety, in difficulty. So he's thinking, how will I rescue this child? So what is the dirty thing? Prabhupada gives a statement. Dirty thing is, I'll be happy by material enjoyment. That's the dirty thing. And nobody can be happy. Everybody's in anxiety because they've accepted something which will never make them happy. So I'll read a little bit of paragraph 4 of the purport. By the grace of God, I don't know where this is. Yeah, there it is. By the grace of God, such a devotee gets sufficient strength to defend himself from the state of disturbances, and gradually all disturbing elements are eliminated from the mind. So Hridanta Sto in the Sanskrit, if you're serious to hear, Krishna in the heart gives intelligence. He's inside, all our dirty things are inside, I am inside. And as soon as he sees that we are a little serious in chanting, then he will help. He will help. Suhrit Satam, he's a very good friend of the devotees. So what are the anarthas? There are 4 types of anarthas in the heart. Hrida Darbayam, weakness of heart. Asat Trishna, that's desiring material enjoyment of different kinds. Aparat, offenses. And Tattva, Viprama. And that is ignorance of the spiritual path. Now, we have advice from Satchidananda Swami. How do we get through anartha nivritti? After overcoming obstacles, tears of humility, tears of emotion will remove anarthas and bring you to Radharani, into the camp of love. So he asked us all the question, Maharaj asked us, have you all cried sufficiently? So Gaura Govinda Maharaj also recommended crying for Krishna. In Goloka Vrindavan, the cows and calves are crying for Krishna. When Krishna blew his flute, tears were gliding from their eyes and they couldn't suck the milk from their mothers. So even the cows and calves in Vrindavan know how to cry for Krishna. One devotee told me in the early days in Moscow, in the temple, every devotee, during japa time, they would have to choose a picture of Krishna and sit in front of it and cry while they were chanting. Devotee said it took him about 3 days before he could do it. But that was the practice in the early days in Moscow. So sometimes we struggle, and not sometimes, but often we struggle going through an anartha nivritti. The desires come in our heart even when we're chanting. So one devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, now I'm chanting, it seems I have more bad qualities than even before I was a devotee. So Prabhupada's answer was, yes, it may look that way. But what happens if you have a dirty house and you haven't cleaned it for years and years? If you start cleaning, the dust will fly. So our hearts are like a dirty house for many, many births. And now we're starting to clean, so the dust is flying. But we shouldn't go after that dust. Don't go after it. And Sachin Swami recommends a 3-step program to increase attachment to the holy name. Chanadapi sunichena toravihapi sahishuna amanina manadena kirtanaya sadahari. So Trinadapi sunichena, prema lives in the house of dainya, or humility. And so we need to practice tolerance in 2 ways. Tolerant like the tree. He said, don't vie for your rights and continue to do service. And so Srila Prabhupada was asked by a devotee, how can I chant with attention? Prabhupada said 7 words. Just try to hear yourself chant sincerely. So the ears, the tongue, and the heart. 3 things all in 1 sentence. Just try to hear yourself chant sincerely. Because sometimes our mind, we feel it's not under control. We feel wretched. And sometimes we get proud. Actually, His Holiness Bhakti-tirtha Swami said that there are 4 causes of fall down for devotees from the path of Krishna consciousness. 1 is pride, lack of humility. 1 is lack of good association. And 1 is offenses. And 1 is ignorance of the path of bhakti. And so we don't have qualification. We should respect all creatures with humility. And we should try to be free from false identity. Our false identity creates anxiety. It's a relief to be insignificant. And when we're pretending to be something we're not, then we will be in anxiety. And so why do we need to get rid of anarthas? Because we need determination to attain Krishna. To focus on what is our true benefit, we have to be convinced Krishna will take care of me. And so when we surrender, we put ourselves under the protection of Krishna, and Krishna will take care of us, but in the way he likes. Maybe not in the way we think he is. And so we have to see the hand of Krishna in everything. In chanting, we have to combine unlimited hopelessness and unlimited hope. And I may be unqualified, but Prabhupada is qualified. If I take shelter of him, I surrender to him, then I can also engage in devotional service. So, as we said yesterday, Shushu show that we have to hear with attention. And he will help us because he's our friend, Sri Satam. So sometimes our desires come back to us. We get the seed of pure devotional service, but unless we keep close association with pure devotees, the desires will mix again and will become weak. So let us go now to verse 1 to 18. This will take us from Anartha-nivritti to Nishta. Next one. Nashta presha badeshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatuttama shloke bhakti bhavatina ishtaki. By regular attendance in classes in Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, whose praise the transcendental songs establish an irrevocable fact. Report. Here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. Remedy is association of the Bhagavatas. There are 2 types of Bhagavatas, the book Bhagavat and devotee Bhagavat. Both the Bhagavatas are competent remedies, and both of them, or either of them, can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. So here's our hope, the Bhagavatas. The devotee Bhagavat is as good as the book Bhagavat because the devotee Bhagavat leads his life in terms of the book Bhagavat, and the book Bhagavat is full of information about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, who are also Bhagavatas. Bhagavat book and person are identical. Devotee Bhagavat is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavat, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavat. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll comment that Bhagavat Sevaya. What is the meaning of Bhagavat Sevaya? Srila Prabhupada explains that Tadiya, Bhagavat Sevaya, Bhagavat and Tadiya. That means the things that are related to Krishna. That is what we have to do. We can't approach Bhagavan directly. So Bhagavata Sevaya, not Bhagavan Sevaya. You can approach Bhagavan through his Bhagavata devotee. So devotee Bhagavat has dedicated his life to Bhagavata. And so human, and then again, now in paragraph 2, this is just a little sentence. Human reason fails to understand how, by serving devotee Bhagavat or book Bhagavat, one gets gradual promotion on the path of devotion. Yes, like the third sentence there. But actually, these are facts explained by Srila Narada Dev. Okay, so this verse says, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. The real prescription is given here, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day, every moment, we must remember Bhagavatam. Then, Nashta Prayesha Badeshu, dirty things in the heart are removed. So, Nashta Prayeshu, Abhadra, dirty things, inauspicious things, heart disease, sense enjoyment. So, Srila Prabhupada explained that here it says Prayeshu, not all of the anarthas are gone, but Praya, 75%. If 75% are gone, we can come to Nishta, or steady devotional service, 75%. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami was in a lecture with Srila Prabhupada in Los Angeles. And Srila Prabhupada was saying, you have to be 100% free from material desires to go back to God. And all the devotees looked so unhappy, and they just put their heads down. Prabhupada said, okay, 90%. You must be 90% free from all. And the devotees still didn't look very happy. Prabhupada said, okay, 80% free from all anarthas. And so then he got off the Vyasa-san, put his chadar on and looked back at the devotees and said, 75%. So if we can just come to the mode of goodness, 75%, then Srila Prabhupada will take us back. So there was one man who knew Srila Prabhupada when he was a student in the university. He was a classmate of Srila Prabhupada, and every day Prabhupada came to his house at lunch and played chess with him. And the stake was lunch, and almost always Prabhupada would win the chess game. So later, this man got a PhD in Sanskrit, became a professor, and Srila Prabhupada told him, you should help me later on when I do something. So then they found out Prabhupada became guru, spiritual master of the Westerners, took the holy name all over the world. And then Prabhupada came to Calcutta one time. This man was living in Calcutta. And the son told the father. The father said, oh, how can I go see him? He's guru of the world. I'm Griha Medi. And the son said, no, he wants to see you. What should I tell him? Father said, tell him I'm sick. So then Prabhupada, next morning walk, Prabhupada came. He walked down all the narrow lanes, went to that house to see that person. And Prabhupada said, I told you you should help me. Come teach them Sanskrit. You can travel around the world with me and teach them. Why don't you do that? You come, I will take you. And the man said, oh, Swamiji, I'm very old. I don't have any spiritual energy. Prabhupada said, no, you have the spark. The same qualities in me is in you. You should join this movement. It's very important. Bharata Bhumi Te Manusha Janma Hoila Jar. You should perfect your life. Better late than never. So at 3 o'clock that afternoon, the son came back from school. His father said, oh, please give me some water. And the father leaned back and said, oh, Bhaktivedanta will take me. He closed his eyes and he passed away from this world. So Srila Prabhupada will take us. Srila Prabhupada will take us back to Godhead. Also, Dinabandhu heard class with Prabhupada at the end of the lecture. If you will just follow these 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds, you will go back home, back to Godhead. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So Hridantasta. We need to. Krishna is in our heart. He cleans our heart. And then in another lecture, Prabhupada said, 50% clean. You know, some of us aren't very good in grades. And so we can even 50% by two things. Kirtanaya Sadahari and Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Always chant Hare Krishna and always hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And so Prabhupada explained we should make a firm conviction that if I surrender to Krishna, all my perfection is achieved. Now Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that how this process happens. Gornitai, first they come in our heart, we take them in our heart. They dissipate the darkness of the inner core of the heart. And they help us meet two kinds of Bhagavatas. So then what happens? These Bhagavatas clean our heart, and then we get bhakti. We get devotional service. And after we get bhakti, then the Lord comes under our control. So this is the process that's happening. Now, what's going on now here in Bhajana Kriya? There is something called unsteady devotional service. And that has 6 different levels, or you can do all the levels at once. The first one is Utsahamayi, that's great enthusiasm. You want to preach, you want to make everyone a devotee, but you don't really have the realization. You have great enthusiasm. You preach to your mother and father, I'm not your child. I had so many mothers and fathers, and you blow out your mother and father. And so this is the first level of unsteady devotional service. Or you might preach to some old person on the street, you know, your teeth are falling out and your liver is defective and you can't see, you're half blind, you can't hear. So you should take up devotional service. They're not going to listen to you. And so that's the first level. The second level is Gana Tarala. Sometimes you're enthusiastic and sometimes you're not. So you go through different spells of opposing attitudes. Then the third level, Vyuda Vikalpa, is indecision. Shall I stay at home and make my home a temple, or should I just renounce everything and go to Vrindavan? Or if you're a brahmachari, should I get married or should I take sannyas? Or if you're living in the temple, should I go to another temple and do some service somewhere else? So you're kind of like in between decision, you're not sure what to do with your life. That's the third level. Vishai Sagara is a kind of a tug of war with material sense enjoyment. You have conflicting doubts and arguments. These are resolved and you're convinced about the path of renunciation and you feel, oh, this desires for sensual enjoyment are forcing me. And so my attraction to devotional service is getting weak. But I'm convinced that perfection can be achieved through devotional service. And he feels bad if he sometimes gets overcome by material desires. So that's the fourth level. Fifth level, niyamakshama, that you make vows, but you can't keep them. Oh, tomorrow I will chant 64 rounds, Sakadashi. I will fast. I will stay up all night. I will chant, but you just can't do it. And the last level, Taranga Rangini, that you enjoy the things that Bhakti gives you. Adoration, distinction, money. And so these are the levels of unsteady devotional service. So how to get out of this? That's how to get free from offenses. Well, the strongest thing that we can do, the most powerful thing, is to chant Panchatattva Mahamantra to protect us from offenses. There is also a nice prayer in 10th canto, chapter 1, verse 4. Nivitatarsha vigiyamana bhavosha chattamano viramat gautama shloka guranuvada pumam virajeta vira ashukanat. Glorification of the Lord is performed parampara system, and such glorification is relished by those no longer interested in the false temporary glorification of this world. Descriptions of the Lord are medicine for the conditioned souls undergoing repeated birth and death. So then there's one more verse from Harinam Chintamani. Dasha parada jena hridayana pashe kipakare mahaprabhu majnam rashe. Mahaprabhu, please be merciful to me. The 10 offenses will never touch my heart, and I can always remain absorbed in the rasa of the holy name. So the main thing is to chant with attention, as Prabhupada said. Just try to hear yourself chant sincerely. So I will stop here if there's any questions. then you can write now on the chat, on also on YouTube or on Facebook, if anybody's there. We did get a late start today. Yes, Bhadra has a question. I can't hear him.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
That six levels of unsteady devotional service. What are those names, kindly?
Okay, I will tell you again.
Okay, thank you.
The first one is Utsaha Mai. That is over enthusiasm. Utsaha Mai. The second one is Ghana Tarala. Sometimes enthusiastic, sometimes lethargic. The third one is Vyudha Vikalpa, indecision. The fourth one is Vishaya Sangara, internal tug of war with material sense enjoyment. The fifth one is Niyamakshama, failure to uphold vows or increase our devotional service. The last one is Taranga Rangani, attachment to wealth, adoration, distinction while doing bhakti.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Bhadra, another one.
I don't know. The problem is usually chant 16 rounds and that's about it. Put the bead bag away, whole day away. Chanting 60 rounds, finish in the morning and then put the bead bag whole day away. Just don't want to bother about it anymore.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. So we can pray. We can pray for bhakti with taste so that even during the day we will desire to pick up our beads. We will desire to chant. Of course, you do kirtan. So that's the same as japa. Kirtan is also very nice. And it's more spontaneous, maybe, to do kirtan. So that's counted. That's counted.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody who has any other questions? Okay, Jai, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving nice class.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpitruva Sarkita Sindhu, Patitanam Pavanam Vaishya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Jai,
Bye.
Haribol.